Our flight from Osaka to Ulaanbaatar is relatively short. My expectations are for a dry and treeless steppe, but we see a few trees as we fly in. Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia, is a city of 1.5 million people. The city sits in a valley on the Terelj River at 4,300 feet. We're on the ground at Genghis Khan International Airport. Welcome to Mongolia. Everything here is about Genghis Khan. Traditional sports of wrestling, archery, and horse racing are a big deal here. This is the wrestling venue. The Terelj River provides a green belt through the city. It's Sunday, and the city's residents are enjoying a day on the river. The government is working hard to build apartment blocks to encourage people to move out of their traditional gers. We've split into 3 groups, one to the Gobi, another to the city, and we're going to Terelj National Park. It's about 2 hours north of Ulaan Baatar. The green pastures and rocky hills dotted with conifers are unexpected. We're inside the park now. Traditional herding is allowed in this part of the park. We pass several ger camps for tourists. Our hotel is a little less rustic. The decor is hard to describe, a mashup of early American and Stalinist with casino garish in the public areas. In the courtyard of the hotel, a crew is setting up a ger for a TV production of Mongolia Has Talent. After breakfast, we're exploring the park. This rock formation is called Old Man Reading a Book. We get a lesson in animal husbandry. These are yaks. And this is a yak-cow hybrid. And the hills are alive with sheep and goats. And not a fence in sight. Our objective this morning is the Genghis Khan Equestrian Statue. We have to wait for them to open the gates. The fields are full of these blue irises. At 132 feet tall, this is the largest equestrian statue in the world. It sits on top of a visitor center with 36 columns representing the 36 Khans of the Mongol Empire. The statue is made of stainless steel. Genghis Khan's light cavalry guard the visitor center. You can reach a viewing platform on the horse's head by stairs and elevator inside the statue. In the visitor center is a Genghis Khan-sized boot. In the basement are 2 museums. The first has Bronze Age artifacts. And the second is devoted to Genghis Khan's time. Outside, an entrepreneur has 2 golden eagles and a cinereous vulture, which for a small fee will pose with you. Lori gets up close and personal with the largest bird of prey in the world. They both seem to be enjoying the moment. Now we're back in Terelj National Park. The interesting clouds make for great scenery pictures. And we wonder at the stacked rock formations. After lunch at the hotel, we're headed to a cluster of gers. We're visiting a family living the traditional nomadic life. Mongolian hospitality is legendary. We try homemade yogurt, fried bread, and dried curd. This family supplements their income with tourist activities including horseback riding. And for something different, rides on their Bactrian camel. Our next stop is Turtle Rock. At the end of this valley is the Yarabal Monastery. We're going to be hiking up to the temple in the monastery complex. The rocks are billboards for Buddhist symbols and mantras. The way is lined with Buddhist sayings for the visitor to contemplate on their walk to the temple. There's a rest stop and a prayer wheel to spin halfway up. Wildflowers carpet both sides of the path. A ground squirrel sends out the alarm. The last leg of the trail takes us over a hanging bridge. The vista alone was worth the hike. Then up the stairs to the temple. We have the place all to ourselves. The riot of colors and shapes is a photographer's heaven. Then back to the hotel for tsuivan and other traditional Mongolian dishes. In the morning, we say goodbye to Vladimir Ilyich by the pool at the Terelj Hotel. And we head back to the big city. On the way back, there are several monuments from the communist days. This one celebrates the Mongolian people who donated money to Russia to build World War II aircraft. This one memorializes Soviet soldiers who died in World War II. Ulaanbaatar is a modern city with lots of traffic. Modern buildings are everywhere, and more are being built. This is City Hall. But our next stop is back in time to Gandon Monastery. The monastery was started in 1809, but today only a single pole on the right remains of that building. This temple was built between 1840 and 1841, but this building, built in 1911, is the real attraction. It houses a Buddha image that is the tallest indoor statue in the world at 87 feet. The statue we see today dates to 1996. The original was dismantled by Russian troops in 1938 and some say shipped to Russia and used to make shell casings. Time for lunch and a shopping opportunity. We're in the Grand Genghis Khan Square. Many important cultural and government buildings face the square. This is the Opera House. Next to it is the Central Cultural Palace, now the Mongolian Theater Museum. The government palace occupies the north side of the square. It houses legislative and executive offices. This is the Mongolian Stock Exchange. We're headed to the National Museum, just off the square. The collection contains artifacts from 4000 BC to the present. Gold and silver have been mined and worked here since antiquity. Music is an integral part of Mongolian life. The horsehead fiddle is the national instrument of Mongolia. The museum's collection also contains artifacts of daily life on the farm and nomadic life. And the communist years are not to be forgotten. Our guide proudly explained the bloodless revolution of the early 1990s that installed democracy in the country. Now to the Zanabazar Fine Arts Museum. Zanabazar was a Renaissance man who made significant advances in language, art, medicine, and astronomy. He personally created bronze religious images, many of which are on display here. The White Tara is considered his Mona Lisa because of her enigmatic smile. He founded a school of Buddhist art whose members continued his influence into the 20th century. The museum has a large collection of 19th century tankas, both painted on cotton and embroidered silk on silk. The collection of Cham dance masks and costumes from the 19th century is amazing. Back at the hotel, we hear about Mongolian calligraphy before dinner. Providing musical entertainment tonight are 5 talented musicians playing uniquely Mongolian instruments. They accompany 3 folk dancers deftly balancing bowls. For the finale, they reveal that the bowls are filled with milk. Throat singing is an art that is unique to this part of the world. Contortionists rounded out the show. After breakfast, we're back at Genghis Khan International Airport. We board the Black Pearl for our next adventure. Uh-oh, looks like the crew's gone native on us.